So, well, you all might be aware of this one, right? Angle of projection. So I'll just explain. I'll just share my whiteboard. Okay, yeah. So basically, like how it is divided is like, see, this is your first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. We use only first and third. I'll just explain you why we use first and third, and we won't be using second and fourth. So if I take it in a 3D view, it looks like this. So you have one plane, you have another plane, and you have another plane here. Okay, and you have another plane here. Okay, so and you have totally plane here one. So this is nothing but you have three mutual perpendicular planes. So all the quadrants will have three mutual perpendicular planes. So everything will be 90 degrees. So this, here you have 90 degree, here you have 90 degree. So this is first quadrant, second quadrant, third, and the fourth. So let's get started with one by one. So why we use first and why we use third, why we are not using second and fourth. Okay, let's start with one by one. So now what I'll do, I'll take first quadrant. Okay, now you have a plane like this. Okay, now assume that you have an observer standing here and you have a plane, you have a object. So if I take it in the side view, right, so it looks like this. A person is standing here. Okay, this is PP, nothing but projection plane. This is the bottom plane, that is nothing but this. This plane is nothing but this, and your object is here. So now what is the condition? In between projection plane and the observer, you have an object. Okay, you have an object there. So this guy, what happens is like he'll see this part, the front view will get projected on this plane. Okay, he goes at the top view will get projected here. Then now what happens is like, see, he sees the right side, but it will get projected, the right view will get projected here. Okay, so now if I open all these planes, I'll just open all these planes now. Okay, see, I just opened all this plane. So you have front, top, right, and in case if you put the remaining view, remaining planes also, right, you will get left, and you will get the bottom view. Okay, now you can just see what is the difference you are able to see here. See, the front view, it is exactly in the center. At the left side, you are getting a right view. At the right side, you are getting a left view. At the top, you are getting the bottom view. At the bottom, you are getting the top view. In case, see, I'll just take an example now. I'll take one example. I'll just clear this, okay? Okay, I'll just take an example of some pencil, or else, okay. Okay, you have a shaft here. This is in isometric view. Okay, and in one side you have an hole. Okay, assume that you have at left side you have an hole. So now front view, I'll keep this one as a front view. Okay, front view. Okay, and this hole is of some depth. Okay, so if I on the hidden line, it will come like this. Okay, so this is your front view. Front view. As per the first angle of projection, what view we need to get here? Anyone?
Right side view.
Yes, right side view. So if you take this one, see, this is your right side view. Then you'll get like this here. You'll get just a circle. And at the right side, you'll get a left view. Okay, so see, you'll get a hole like this. So this is the difference. And in the third angle of projection, what happens is like this becomes ulta. At left, you will get left view. At right, you will get right view. Okay, and I'll explain you like in next this one, I'll be explaining how we'll be getting. So make sure that always, and here you'll be getting the bottom. Anyways, this is totally circle. We can't, okay, fine. I'll just, what I'll do, I'll just make a slot here. Assume that you have a slot here. Okay. Okay, you have a at top, you have a slot here. So in this case, I'll get top view at the bottom, okay, and bottom view at the top. See, first angle of projection apart from front view, rest all the views will be reversed. At left you'll be getting right, right you'll be getting left, top you'll get getting bottom, and bottom will be getting a top. Okay. So any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, fine, good.
No, sir.
Yeah. So next, okay, this is first angle of projection, and basically, like in first angle of projection, especially in Europe, sorry, in USA based companies, they follow first angle projection. There's no like a hard and fast rule that you need to follow first angle projection or third angle projection. It's left to them. Like few of the people have followed from first angle projection, so they're continuing with the first angle projection. And to be specific, US based companies, they follow first angle of projection. And if you go towards the European based, so those people follow the third angle of projection. Okay, because now what happens is like all of a sudden, if you want to change everything to third angle of projection, then the thing is like your all data, like if the company exists from past 50 years, all the data has to be converted into third angle of projection. So that's why they won't be going for this change of projection. What they do is like, in case if the company is following first angle projection, they has to follow that one, and the companies which are following third angle of projection, they'll be following with the third angle of projection. Okay, now next comes your second quadrant. Now I'll take second quadrant. Okay, and you have a plane. See, this part here, you had a first angle, first quadrant. Now I'm taking a second quadrant, and a person. See, person's position will be fixed irrespective of any of the quadrant. Okay. Now if I take in the, what is that, 2D view, see here you have it. Object and the observer is standing here. So whatever, see, this is like this. See, this is first, second, third, and the fourth. Now in first angle of projection, it was here. So in second angle of projection, it is, see, now in second angle of projection, the object is placed after the projection plane. See, you have a projection plane here. It is placed after the projection plane. But in first angle of projection, it was placed in between. Observer, projection plane, in between this was placed. Now you have, okay. Now what happens? He views the front will get projected. He goes at the top will get projected here. And he'll see at the side, any of the side, he'll get a side view. Okay. Now, okay. Now what happens is like, I'll take this one. I'll take the different color. See, since front view is visible to me, okay, fine. I'll keep as it is. I'll keep as it is front view. Side view is visible to me. What I'll do, I'll rotate this one by 90 degrees so that I got side view. So in case if I want to view top view, what I need to do? Anyone?
It will come below the front view.
Yeah, but the thing is like, see here. If
Sir, I think we had to close our 90-degree upside.
Yes. So now what happens is like, it comes and it merges with your top view. Someone told you can, it comes below. The problem is like, see here, if it comes bottom right, now your instead of T, the T looks like this. Okay, so the thing is that we can't rotate anti-clockwise, clockwise direction. We need to rotate clockwise direction so that what view you have seen, the same view will be getting. But the thing now, the problem is like, already you have a front view and your top view is getting overlapped with the front view. So this is the reason why we won't follow second angle of projection. And the same thing, the same reason holds good for fourth angle of projection. Okay, that's why second and fourth we won't be using. So whenever they in the interviews or something, if they ask, just tell the top view will get merged with front view. Don't reverse it. The front view won't get merged with top view. Instead, top view will get merged with front view, because we are unable to see the top view. So we are rotating the plane by 90 degrees. But the thing is like, it is getting merged with the front view. Okay. And now next one, see now, we done with first, we have done with second and third. Now I'm taking the third one. See, object is placed here. it is placed here, it is placed here, it is placed here, and you have an observer. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll take a third angle of projection. See, you have, say at the top, you had a first angle of projection, see, and here you had first angle of projection, here you had second. Now I'm taking the third angle of projection. See, now you have an observer. Okay, now you tell me where the object is placed. Anyone?
Within that cube, sir.
Sorry?
Within that cube.
No, it's within the cube only, but see here, you have a projection plane. Okay, is it placed before the projection plane or after the projection plane?
After.
Yes, it's after the projection plane. So it's after the projection plane. So now what happens is, like, he views, he'll get the front view. Okay, he goes at the top. Okay, top view will get projected here, and he looks at the left view, and the left view will get projected here. Now if I open all the planes, see here, top, front, then you got the left view. Just put these remaining planes here as well. You will get right view, and bottom, you will get a bottom view. Now, what is the difference between first and third angle of projection here?
Left is coming in the left, right
Yes.
is coming in the right.
Yes. Top in the top and bottom in the bottom. Okay, now let's summarize, like, what is the difference between first and third? Okay. So if I take here, so in first angle of projection, see, if I take a plane, if I take all the quadrants like this, see, the object is placed here, the object is placed here. Okay, so in first angle of projection, the object is placed in between projection plane and the observer. Okay, and in third angle of projection, it is placed after the projection plane. 1, 2, 3. Here 1, 2, 3. So it is placed in between. Here it is placed after. And next difference is, like, all the views will get reversed in first angle of projection apart from front view. Front view will remain as front view. Rest all, like, at left you will be getting right, right you will be getting left, top, bottom, and at the bottom you will be getting top. But in third angle of projection, it holds its respective positions. Okay, and another one is, like, this is a symbolic representation for your first angle of projection. Okay, and this is your symbolic representation for third angle of projection. So whenever you see any drawing set, nowhere they'll be mentioning first angle of projection or third angle of projection. They'll, I mean, you'll have a symbolic representation. If you see like this, then you need to say this is a first angle of projection, and when you say this one, this is the second angle of projection. Sorry, third angle of projection. Okay, so nowhere in the drawing they'll be mentioning angle of projection, this and that. So by seeing the symbolic representation only, you need to get identified. Now what happens, like, in case if you what is that, in case if you say, if you show that it's a first angle of projection and if the views are kept in third angle projection, in that cases what happens is, like, while manufacturing, the feature which has to come towards the right side will be shifted towards the left, and the feature which has to come towards the left side will get shifted towards the right side. So that is the main important, like, in case if you shift the views right, so in production it gets ulta. So in this one, like assembly, that time you will get an issues and all. Okay, and so now anyone has any doubts on angle of projection can just clarify, because this is a basic and this is the most important question whenever you go for any interviews, right? This one will be the first question. Explain the first, third, and why we won't use second and fourth quadrant of quadrant. Okay, so in case if you have any doubts, you can just ask me.
No doubt, sir.
Yeah, sure. Others?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. So, like, whenever we are doing, I mean, dealing with any of this, what is that, 3D CAD, right? So we basically have totally some 5 modules. Okay. So first one is sketchers. First one is sketchers. So see, this is the main important thing. If you become perfect with this one, then rest all will be very easy, because part design is nothing but you are just creating a 3D envelopes. That is nothing but you have extrusion, reverse, and but if you get doubts in this one only, then the thing what happens is that because the sketch is the main important thing. With that one only, you will develop a 3D. Okay, so this is the main important thing. Then we'll be moving on to the part design. So part design is nothing but the designs which involves in a complete solid body. So the examples are piston, then you have channels, then you have kind of forging components, connecting rods, engine cases and all. So those are all designs will be done in part design. Next one is drafting. It is called as drafting, detailing, drawing, okay, anything. You can just call it as anything. So these three terminologies, usually we use it, DWG, okay. It is called as drafting, detailing, and drawing, okay. So in drafting, what you do is like, once you are done with this part design, you make a 2D. So that 2D drawing, it goes for the production, okay. Even this is the main important thing. So here I'll be teaching you the standards, ISO standards, then you have ASME standards. Okay, so whenever you draw any kind of drawing, any of these standards should be considered. Then once the drawing is done, then I'll go with assembly. So assembly. So here you will get all kind of what is it? Exploded view, bomb. That is nothing but bill of material. So in case if you have any assembly component, you have an assembly. So you will just mention like you'll create a simple drawing. Even here I'll be teaching you assembly drawing. Okay, you have two types of drawing. One is part level drawing, one is assembly level drawing. So in assembly level drawing, you will just mention what is the quantities, like you have a screw, how much quantity of screw you have, and then you have washers, so how many quantity washers. So those all things you'll be mentioning in assembly drawing. Then I'll be moving on to the surfacing. So surfacing, these basically we design for plastic parts. So you have what is that, bumper, then you have dashboards. So those all designs will be done in surfacing. So once this surfacing is done, then I'll be moving on to the sheet metal. Okay, so sheet metal, here you will get to know what is the embossment, what is bead, what is a sheet metal, like what is that, what is the bend radius you need to consider whenever you are dealing with any sheet metal. Examples are you have a number of parts. One is like trims. You have what is that, car seat is, it is made up of completely sheet metal. Then you have a foaming. Okay, so those all parts will be designed in sheet metal components. Okay, so basically see here, if you say sheet metal, right, sheet metal will start from 0.15 to 6 or 7 mm. Few company consider 7 mm even as a sheet metal, but few companies consider 6 mm max as a sheet metal. Post 6 or 7 mm, that is considered as plate. Okay, so below that one, that is considered as sheet metal. Below 0.15, it is considered as foil. Okay, foil, sheet metal, then plate. Okay, this is below 1.5, they'll consider it as sheet metal. Okay, and below 6 or 7, below 6 or 7 mm, it will be considered as sheet metal. Post 6 or 7 mm, it is considered as plate. Okay, so plate, like you have 10 mm thick plate, 12 mm thick plate. So for that, you won't be calling it as sheet metal, you'll be calling it as plate. Okay, and now the question is like, we basically follow two standard methods. You know anyone? Measuring methods, two standard measuring methods. Anyone you know? Anyone?
Sir, millimeters and inches.
Metric, yeah, yes, exactly.
Metric.
Okay, so you have metric and another one is inch-based system. But usually we won't follow inch-based system. We follow metric-based system. Inch-based system, usually they follow whenever they have kind of designing these gauges and kind of designing the sheet metal part. So what happens is like you'll, and specific to the, what is that, piping. So piping engineers and all, those people will follow in case of inches. They won't call 5 mm pipe, 6 mm pipe. They call it as a 1 inch pipe, 2 inch pipe. So that is nothing but that says your OD. So 5 inch pipe, and you have specific what is that diameters and all. So specific with these piping industries and all, those people follow inch-based system, and semiconductor industry, so those follow inch-based system, and is mechanical, then automotive, those all follow millimeter. That is nothing but your metric-based system. Okay, and next important thing is like yeah. So as I told, first we'll be moving on with the sketches. So in sketches, totally we have two type of constraints. So constraint are nothing but you are restricting. So now the question is like, what is the what degrees of freedom a free body has? Anyone can answer? What is the degrees of freedom? Anyone knows what is degrees of freedom?
Sir, the amount of movement an object can make.
Yes. Okay, anyone can answer?
The number of ways in which a body is freely able to move or rotate.
Yes. So how many degrees of freedom we have?
Yes, sir. Like usually linear and rotational
Okay, so how many we have?
thing.
Yeah, what you told, it's correct. So how many degrees of freedom we have?
Sir, 4.
9.
7.
No.
9, no, sir.
No. Okay.
6, sir. 6.
Yes, it's 6. Because you have, see, your coordinate system is like this, right? Okay, your coordinate system is like this. You have a object here. So your part can move either in the Z direction, X direction, then Y, and this is Z. Okay. So in the Z direction, then it can rotate about Y, rotate about X, and rotate about Z. So totally you have 3 rotational and 3 transitional. So you have totally 6 degrees of freedom. Okay. So now in sketch also, right, whenever you put any kind of sketch here, any kind of 2D element, you will have a coordinate system. Okay. So now if I, for this rectangle, see, 2 dimensions are enough. So what that is nothing but your length and your height. Okay, I have specified these 2 dimensions. Now what happens is like, if I pull this one, it will move because it is free in the air. You are not constraining with the coordinate system. Once you pull a dimension here, okay, and once you pull a dimension here, this becomes fully constrained sketch. Okay, and these what you input, right, like 100 and 50. So what values you input, those are nothing but dimensional constraint. And these 2 lines, see, these 2 lines are connected with the constraint called as coincidence. So that is nothing but geometrical constraint. Your geometrical constraints are nothing but your coincidence, then tangency, concentric, perpendicular, parallel. Okay, similar, what is that, equality. So those all comes under your geometrical constraint. Dimensional constraint are nothing but which controls the your sketch, that exactly controls your parameters. Okay, so just remember you have 2 constraints. One is geometric and the one is dimensional constraint.